Okay, we want to be able to create a brake caliper like this, and this will be created in 3D off some plans. And the plans come out of the Excel Metcalf and Metcalf textbook, and they look something like that. And we're given some dimensions there. I don't have them in front of me to show you, but I'll go through the process of creating this in CAD in Fusion 360, which is what we're doing now. Create a section view, and so we learn some of the basic handling skills of how to use the software. Alright, so the first thing that we're going to do is start with our new sheet, a new canvas, and we'll begin with the sketch. Now I've got sketch set up in the toolbar here, but you can access it just through create sketch by the drop down menus if you like. So let's create a sketch, and we'll start it from a plane. So select any plane, whichever one you want, it doesn't really matter. And you're now looking in a vertical view, so you're seeing a two-dimensional view. Now looking at the original plans, which will look something like this, here we go, you can see that you're actually given two separate radiuses for both edges of this particular object. So we're going to start off drawing two circles, and then I'll tell you some of the dimensions we go through, but you can easily work them out from the scale drawing that you're given in the Excel textbook. So here we go. Let's go to our item here. So we'll start off with a circle. We'll create a circle, and it'll be a center diameter circle. Start from the middle, which is always a good place to start when you want to start, and draw outwards. Now we'll dimension that first circle. It's a radius of 72.8, which makes it a diameter of 146, I think. Yeah, 142.6, something like that. Not that critical. Let's make it 145.6, I think it is. Here we go. That didn't work out too well. 145.6. So there's our diameter of our first circle. Hit enter. Sometimes you have to hit enter twice, and it's set into position. I'm scrolling my middle mouse button now, so I'm moving the screen in a little bit so we can see a bit more, and I'm going to create a new circle. So I can sometimes just right click, repeat center diameter circle, and you can save yourself a little bit of time. Push it out here. The larger diameter circle for the outer edge of the brake calipers has a radius of 124.8. 124.8. I'm just typing it out here, multiplying it by 2 to get it right. So it's going to have a diameter of 249.6. So 249.6, and click enter, and enter again, and there's your outer diameter. So that's the sort of inner and outer edges that we want. Right, the next thing is we happen to know, just by looking at the diagram here, that it's going to have a radius in between these two surfaces. So they are radial surfaces, and you can measure them straight off the original drawing from the textbook at 75 degrees between those two surfaces. So let's do that. Let's go there and create our 75 degree angle. So we'll do a line this time. So we'll sketch here, and we'll select line, start from the center, and we'll go outwards here. And I'm only going to guess this because I'm going to measure it in a minute. So let's go to line to about there. That'll do it. I hit escape to get rid of the line tool. Now if I want to do another one, I can just hit that right mouse button and repeat line. And I mean, look, there's two ways of doing this. I can draw another line and dimension them up, or I can create an axis of symmetry and do it through an axis of symmetry. So let's do this. Let's just create a construction line. So over here on the sketch palette on the left, you see you've got construction. If you left click on that and highlight construction, we'll create a construction line here from the center point. Make it a line, of course. So click on line. We're on construction, so now it's a construction line. Construction lines are dotted lines. They don't really appear in your end drawing. I'm left clicking on it. I'm doing that because I want to create a central axis, because I want to mirror this line about the other side. So let's try that out. So to do that, to mirror a line about an axis, let's go to, we're in Sketch, we have to be in Sketch. Look at the drop down menu and find mirror down the bottom. There it is. Click on that and you get a dialog box. You're asked, what do you want to mirror first? What object? Well, select this line you can. There it is, it's highlighting. Left click it, and then you're asked for a mirror line. So choose mirror line, and it says where do you want to select this mirror line, and I'm going to try and select this line this construction line that I've created, and there it is, and we've mirrored the line across to this side from what I can understand. So we click OK, and we've got our two lines, and they're symmetrical, which is cool. So you can just see if I outline there, that's the shape that we're looking for in the brake caliper. Now next thing is that we have three holes stuck in the middle here. So looking at our drawing, here it is here. There's the three holes to produce those, probably rivet holes or something like that, or it'll be bolt recess holes, so the head of the bolt will disappear. So let's create those. Now I know from measuring on the drawing that they're at a radius of 100 millimeters from the center. So I'm going to create a point, or I can create a construction circle. There's lots of ways to do it. Let's do a construction circle. So we go with circle, center diameter, go from the center here. We're still in construction mode, notice, so that we're going to get a dotted circle, which is fine by me. Now this time I want it to be 200. The radius is 100, so the diameter will be 200, and we're dealing in diameters. So type in 200, click enter, and I click enter again, and there she blows. Now that gives me basically my pitch circle diameter, which is where these spaced circles at fixed radius about a center will be positioned. There's one in the middle, and so let's sketch a circle here now. Let's keep in mind though, I don't want to do a construction line now, so I'm getting out of construction. I'm now going to select a circle, a center diameter circle, and I'm going to use it in the middle here to do a 15 millimeter diameter hole. I'm going to click enter there. Now, it's something to bear in mind that we're actually drawing on a certain angle, and we want to extrude at some point. So I think I'll show you what we'll do afterwards, but we'll continue with this as we are. That's fine. So now I've got my 15 millimeter diameter circle there, and I know that the next two circles are spaced perpendicular to this axis line at 40 millimeters distance. So I'm going to use a point. I'm going to create a point. So instead of sketching a line, we'll go sketch down here. I'm going to sketch a point. There it is, point. So select it by left clicking. I know it's going to lie on this radius somewhere, and I'm going to fix it in a minute. So there's my point. And now I'm going to go to dimension. Now I've got it in my quick reference on the toolbar here, but you can just sketch down here and find it right down the bottom there. And if you want to, little dot buttons there, if you click on those dot buttons, you can pin it to the toolbar if you're using it a lot. I do that. So let's select this point, left mouse click, and then select this location here, center, and now we can take our dimension, take it outside of the drawing, shrink it down a little bit so we can see a bit better, take it outside the drawing, and we'll make it 40 millimeters exactly. Hit enter, and there it is. Now that useful little point is going to become the reason on the way that we can create our next circle. So we're going to use that point. Let's do it. We'll use another center diameter circle, so sketch circle, center diameter circle here, and we'll make it a 15 millimeter circle as we've done before, 15 millimeter diameter. There it is. Hit it again. Cool bananas. Here it is. Okay, now let's mirror this about the same axis, so it's exactly in the opposite on the other side. That's going to be convenient for us. So go to sketch again, go to the mirror function down here, and again we've got to select the object. What is it? Well, it's going to be, so click on select, and then let's click the object. It's that circle. Now about what axis do we want to mirror it? Click select for the axis, find your axis, which is, it's got a highlight in blue, left click it, and there it appears exactly in the right spot for us, and then click OK. So we've got our three circles there. Alright, now let's do a bit of tidying up. Go to sketch, go to trim, and we're going to start getting rid of unnecessary lines. So let's start with that line. So highlight it, left click it, it'll disappear. Do the same with all this, we don't need all that, and the same with this, we don't need that line outer edge. You can see our object's starting to take shape. Let's get rid of this, we don't need that, and get rid of that, we don't need this. So now we've got our brake caliper shape starting to look a little bit more like a brake caliper shape. Now, next thing to do is to extrude it. So let's get into extruding now. I'm going to stop this sketch and save it. So we're left with that. Probably some extra little lines I should have got rid of. How do we do that? We'll hover over down the bottom here, your history bar, and right click on it, edit your sketch, back into sketch again, go to trim where it was under sketch function, so to trim, and then let's trim off these little lines here. There they are. I'm clicking them once, clicking them again, click them once in red, and then they disappear. And I'm going to save that sketch. All good. Now let's go to create extrusion. So click extrude, and again we're going to select a profile. What do we want to extrude? Well, we want to extrude this big beast here, this thing. There it is. Now, at this point in time, I don't want to just extrude. I want to extrude everything, including those circles. So if you hold down Control and click in the space that you want to extrude, it should highlight the whole thing. Now, we don't want to go out this way. I'll explain to you why. We want to go back the other way. And we want to do it 23.5 millimeters, which is the exact dimensions of that brake caliper. I'll explain to you why I extruded back the other way now, if I can. We're going to do another extrude, and we want to have the sketch in position for extruding on the surface ready visible to us that we chose. So this sketch over here, let's edit it. You see it sitting there. Alright, there it is. Edit the sketch. There it is there. Alright. Okay. So let's stop that sketch, and now let's do another extrude. Create extrude, but we're not left with showing any of our sketch items. So I want to see the sketches. Let's change our view. Change our view. Down here, orbit, look at, pan, zoom window, display settings, grid and snaps, viewports, display settings, visual style, object visibility. We want visual style. Shader with hidden edges. Alright, that's good. Now, one more than that. We would like mesh display. Okay, I know what it is. Let's turn this on. Turn on the sketch. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so we've turned on. This is something for you to be aware of. When you're doing your drawings, if you can't see what you're trying to sketch, go across the left-hand side here under your browser and find out where your sketches are. Draw them out, and then make sure the little light bulb's turned on, and then you can see your sketches and they'll appear and you can extrude from them. Okay, that's a very handy thing to know. Alright, let's highlight these now, and we're going to extrude them in. So I'm going to left click on that one, but I'm going to hold the Control key down because I'd like to try and do them all at the one time. Now you've got to be patient with this. Hover over the next one, click there, and then hover over the third one, but don't rush it, because sometimes if you hover too quick you miss them. Now they're all highlighted, and we're going to extrude all of them in one hit, and we're going to go down a distance of 4 millimeters. So it's going to be negative, or I guess it's 4 millimeters in the direction that the arrow says, and we'll click OK. And it's a cutting function. Now if for some reason it doesn't work, try and make sure that you've got cut and not create a new body or something like that, which is not going to help you. So click OK, and there we have. So now we have our little extrudes all done very nicely there for us. There they are. Now the next stage is to create the hollow on the inside, because remember this thing here, the lightweight caliper, see how it's got that inside shape there that's been hollowed out? Alright, well let's do that now. So let's select this face here, and we're going to do a sketch on that face. So create a sketch, and then straight away it comes into a 2D view for us, which is what we want. Now I'm going to scroll my mouse button to make it a bit bigger, my center mouse button, and we're going to use a rectangle. I've got it set up here in quick reference, but you can go to here on the drop down menu and go to rectangle and then 2-point rectangle if you like, so whichever way. Just organize to do your rectangle by hovering and clicking. It doesn't have to be exactly in the right spot. We'll fix that up in just a minute. I'm left clicking, and now I'm going to dimension this thing. So I'm going to click hit enter to say I'm going to accept that sketch, and now I'm going to dimension it. So let's go to dimension. Remember, dimensions down the bottom here, or you can put it up in your quick sketch toolbar. So here it is in the quick sketch toolbar, quick reference toolbar. Let's dimension. From here I left click and I hover over the other line. From that line, draw it up here out of the way, and that distance there needs to be 6.5 millimeters. So I'm going to click on that, left click on it, and then type in 6.5, and lo and behold, it's at 6.5 millimeters. So it recognizes that that's an edge, and it moves the dimension inwards, not outwards. This dimension, on the other hand, over here, now see how the cursor's still got the dimensioning little symbol on it? It means I can keep on clicking away, creating new dimensions. This new dimension over here is not going to be 6.5, it's going to be 4 millimeters. I type enter, and that's 4 millimeters. Now the other thing around the top over here is a dimension over here which I want to constrain, and that dimension is going to be 13 millimeters by calculation. So 13 millimeters is there. I mean, whatever it is. Now there's actually, the back edge is shorter than the front edge on this caliper. You'll notice. I'll try and show you here. You might have, see, it's a little bit shorter than the front edge. So we're going to fix this up now. So let's go in, hover, center mouse button scrolling, do ourselves another rectangle like that, and this one I'm going to draw here and just draw it out to the edge, and you'll see I'll use the trim function to fix up this edge and get rid of what we don't want. I've hit escape to leave that, and now let's do some, I know that distance up needs to be 4 millimeters, so I'm back into dimension tool again here now. I'm going to adjust these two dimensions, and I'm going to make them 4 millimeters. So type 4, hit enter. That's fine. Alright, now I've got the basic shape that I want to cut, but I've got extra lines, so what do? Well, you guessed it, we go to trim function again. I love trim function. It's just really kind of therapeutic to see things just disappear when you don't want them. There you go, left click. Sometimes it'd be nice to do that, wouldn't it, in different stages of life, and make some objects or people disappear? Well, not quite so. Alright. Now we've got an outline or a shape. I'm going to get out of, hit escape, get out of trim function, and you can see as I'm hovering over this that this is an integrated outline that we can extrude or revolve. Now we're going to use the revolve function, which is really fun. I find it really fun. So we've got this outer shape here, and I want to create a hollow all the way around. Yeah. So let's do that. Let's left click it, select it like that, and then we're going to create a revolve. So go to create, find revolve down here, there it is, and you've got a dialog box. What profile do you want to revolve? Well, that's already highlighted, we've selected that. What axis do you want to use to revolve on? Now let's have a look at that. That can be a little bit more challenging, so let's just center mouse scroll out buttons, and let's find our axes. Kind of not quite, there they are. Alright, now see how we can't see any axis over here? We'll just fling up to the top here onto the left and find origin. Double click on that and click on the buttons, and there it is. So your axes begin to appear. Now everything going according to the plan, we should be able to choose axis and then select one of these axes. See how it's highlighting like that? Beautiful. Now we can use that as an axis of revolution from which to spin about this whole thing. So let's left click it and select it, and we'll watch the magic happen. Whew, look at that. It's like Stargate, isn't it? Yeah, there you go. Now see, now when I hit enter, all of that pink stuff's going to disappear. We've got the cut function going on, so if you don't use cut and you use join, that's what you get. So make sure you use cut and remove material, click OK, and lo and behold, there it is. Okay. Now if you don't like that look and you don't like all those hidden detailed lines, you can go down here to display settings, and you can go visual style and just do shaded like that, and there it is without all the lines. If the origin bothers you, just click on the little light bulb here where it says origin on your browser. Origin disappears, and we are in business. Okay, The construction line, which is that dotted line, will disappear. It won't appear in your drawing, but we've actually created the caliper now. It's done. The next stage is to create a 2D drawing with that. Now that's not as hard as what it looks. So let's go to model here, go drawing, from design. Let's call it, caliper. And you can save it where you want to save it. I've selected something called HSC. I've created a folder, so you can just go new project, new folder, make a folder and save it there. It'll save up on the cloud for you on your profile. You can go save. And just be patient now, because a lot of things are going on. Okay, create drawing, dialog box is here. It's a new drawing from scratch. ISO is fine, millimeters are good. I suggest if you're going to print on A4, choose A4. I'm going to go portrait rather than landscape, so let's go portrait and click OK. So it'll push it onto an A4 page in portrait shape, which is what I want. Let's just wait while we do some crunching here. Alright, and bang, it's nice and a nice template for us. Now, you can see that on the cursor here now down the bottom, I've got place base view. So let's place where we want the base view to be. Now, I'm going to place it, say, about here. Now, it's pretty small, it's a bit ugly, I can't see much. So let's go across here to the dialog box and go to scale. At the moment it's 1 to 5. Now, it's off. When I click this, it's off onto another. I don't think I can get it across to you. Can you see it if I click scale like this? Let's try. No, just push. I've got 3 screens, so it's banging it on another screen. I don't know why. But you'll see a whole range of scales. You can just type in a scale. So if I do 1 to 1, click 1 to 1 scale, that's a much better size. Maybe a little bit on the big side, so I'll try a bit smaller. Maybe 1 to 2. Okay. I mean, look, it's not beautiful. Let's go 1 to 1.5 and see how that goes. 1.5. I don't know, it's going to let me do that. Backspace. Yeah, I might do 1.5. Yeah, that's better. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'll click OK. Now, I suspect this is going to put it in first angle projection, which is something we need to fix up later, but let's not worry about it for this stage. It's not as important to our subject. Okay, here it is here. Now, at present point in time, we have an object. Now, it's not exactly what I want. I would like to see all hidden detail. It's an orthogonal drawing. So let's have a look at some of the views that we have here. We can do projected views if we want. Have a top view, front view, side view. I don't want to do a projected view yet. I actually want to do something a little bit different. Notice how it's brought it in the same format that I had it in my previous drawing. So I'm not seeing hidden detail or anything like that. So if that is the case and you want to modify that, let's delete this. So I'm highlighting it here. Should be able to right click and delete it. Yeah, it's gone. Let's go back to our original drawing and let's change the view that it has. So go down the bottom here, go to view, visual style. Let's say it's going to be we'll use wireframe with hidden edges. Okay, like that. Now let's import it and have a look how it goes now. So we'll create a drawing again, or we can go back to original drawing if you like here, and we can bring it in from there. So we should be able to bring in a drawing, base view. There it is, place a base view. Hopefully it gives us a big better picture of what's going on here now. Change the scale. Oh, I know, we forgot to change it up here. We can do it here. Sorry guys. Alright, no problems. We decided it was going to be 1 to 2.5. There you go. And now we'll change the view from up here. So clicking on this, we'll get a different view. This is visible and hidden and visible and hidden edges. So we'll click that. We'll click OK. Let's see what happens. There we go. We're happy with that. So we can see visible and invisible edges. It's pretty good. We can move it by left clicking and dragging it a little bit if we want, like that. Left click again. I'm now going to create a sectional view, and I suppose it's still a bit on the small side. Let's see if we can modify dimensions. So that's giving it dimensions, which we can do in a minute. No, right, let's go to section view, which is what we need to do. So we'll go to section view over here, section view, and now we are going to highlight the parent view because it says select the parent view, and then we get a sectioning situation going on here, and it's asking us where do we want to draw a line to do a slice through this so we can see the parts that looks on the inside. Now I've got a center line over here which suits me just fine. If I line up with that, I left click on my mouse button, I take it up to show where I want the rest of the sectioning line to come from, and I specify a point and say, okay, that'll do me. There's my sectioning line. Alright, now once I've done that, I'm escaping out of that because I'll redo that. Select the parent view, good. Find my sectioning point. Yeah. Go from here all the way up the top, so slice it all the way through. Left click, and now I should be able to go to my dialog box over here and select the type of view that I want. I want a full length view, thread edges. What's this one? Off tangent edge visibility. Let's select full length, and objects to cut. We've done that. Okay. Hit enter. Good. There's my sections, and now I can drag the body out. So there it is. So there's my section view. Now I'll click on it so you can see what happens, and we should be able to hit enter now. And there's the section view. So the section view, right, shows the parts that are sliced using a crosshatch view, and it'll show you the sections that are whole that would normally be seen in a normal uncrosshatched format, and that's your section view. Alright, now it's a little bit on the small side. I probably should need to scale this up a little bit, which you can do at some stage at your leisure. It's not too difficult to do it. I reckon you can do it when you import it, or you might be able to find another way of scaling it up here. My next concern is to dimension it. So let's go to dimensions over here, dimensions, and we can create some dimensions. So for example, if we want the angle, I'm left clicking again and drawing out. That angle is 79.28 degrees at present. I would like to know, say, the distance from here, or the radius of these. From there to there, or that distance to here, from here to here. It will be 40.6 if I draw it straight up like that, 40. And I can dimension some other areas if I like. Maybe perhaps the distance from this. This will be a radius of 111.8. Maybe I'll take it out this side over here to there, 111.8. So you can add all your dimensions that you need to. Over here the same sort of a thing, we're in dimension mode as well. So here, draw it out, 25.27, and you can dimension what you like. Now if you want to, you can put in another view, which could be easily done. So we'd do another view, and you do that by, let's do select the parent view, and by dragging out to different locations you can produce different views. There's an isometric view, so we can, or if I draw it down here, you see it produces another side. So let's take it up here and left click on it, and that should do it. I don't want any more views, so hit escape, and we've got a view which is a 3D view. Now if I wanted to change this, I should be able to select the mode of the view. So go into here and find what kind of projected view I want. Modify it, text, symbol, tables, output, drawing views. Here we are. It should tell me what type of view that I can have. I can project it into. I can make it into something more more easily visible. dimensions. No, I don't want to do that. Edit the view. That view. Here we go. So by editing the view, I can choose it. And let's say I want to do a solid view. I want to look at it with no hidden edges like that. Click close, and I can look at it like this. Or I can edit the view again, and let's say I want to do something like from parent like this, shaded. Make it look a bit more 3D, and click OK, close, and there's my 3D view. So the whole thing can appear like that. You can scale it up on the page or down as it suits yourself. I probably should have scaled it a little bit larger, but it's there ready to go, and that's the basic techniques that are involved. Thank you.